Hey guys, I'm Bria.
And I'm Chrissy.
And today we're going to be talking about something that's very intimate.
We're going to be talking about how my experience as a sexual trauma victim has affected our sex and intimate life as a couple.
I think it's very important to note that we spend a lot of time making comedy videos and making people laugh and making songs, but we don't typically talk about our sexual relationship. And it's also to be noted that this video 100% will be demonetized because we're talking about trauma and we're talking about sex, but we think it's very important to talk about this topic that we have never touched on.
So if you want to support us making videos like this or things that YouTube is going to demonetize, consider supporting us on Patreon, patreon.com/BriaAndChrissy, so that we can continue to make content like this. Less than a year after we started our channel, I found out through fans, because somebody started posting links on our page, that I was a slut, a whore, and a bad role model, and to go check out these videos that Chrissy Chambers was in. Googled my name, Chrissy Chambers sex tape. I clicked the link and saw that the first time I had ever gotten drunk, I had broken up with an ex-boyfriend back in 2009. That night he proceeded to get me blacked out, intoxicated. I don't remember that evening, but what I immediately saw when I clicked on the link and saw the videos, my ex had proceeded to pull out a camera and film himself having sex with me. He ended up filming 7 videos, and he posted those videos to over 37 different pornography sites. Thus began a 5-year journey to get justice. We finally won that legal battle and won the first civil lawsuit against revenge porn in the UK, and one of the very first in the world.
The first night we found out, we were in a hotel room in Las Vegas, and I remember Chrissy getting ready for bed. And it was that night.
It started that quickly.
It started that quickly. It was instantaneous. That night, Chrissy went and got her pajamas. Instead of, normally she would just take off her clothes in front of me. I remember her going to the other side of the bed, kind of lowering her body to the bed, and you pulled off your pants behind the bed. That moment, I knew that this was going to affect the rest of our lives. The next step was not being able to look at her own body.
Seeing myself in such a vulnerable place and unable to defend myself in any way, it had such a devastating impact on my emotional and my mental well-being, and I immediately felt so much shame, so much guilt, and I felt so dirty to even look at my body in the mirror. When I would look down, I would see, the videos.
I remember the day after we were in Vegas. It was the next day. Even trying to touch Chrissy, and it wasn't even like a sexual way. It was just trying to be close to my partner. It was so physically uncomfortable to her. I don't have any idea if or when we will be able to be intimate again.
It was a paralyzing effect on me. I couldn't leave the bed for weeks. I was completely immobilized, felt like completely dissociated from my body, from my emotions, from my partner. I don't know when we're going to be able to be intimate again, and it was months.
And I remember looking at her and saying, no matter what we have to do, I'm going to be there. I'm going to support you, and we're going to do whatever we need to do.
We didn't know the right steps to try to recover or get through this for 8 months. First, I turned to alcohol, which so many people with PTSD or going through trauma turn to. Substance abuse, like marijuana, anything I could do to try to numb the mental state that I was in. And it was not until I guess about 8 months after that I finally got actual trauma therapy. The things that you experience as a trauma victim of some kind of sexual trauma, some tips that can help you get through those things. So I have some notes pulled up and I just want to look at them now. When you've gone through a sexual trauma, basically nothing feels safe anymore. Everything can be incredibly triggering, and common side effects of going through a trauma would be anxiety, depression, or in more severe cases, PTSD, substance abuse, basically anything you can do to try to feel numb. I think that substance abuse, for anyone who's gone through sexual trauma, as I've learned even just in the past few weeks, it's one of the most dangerous things because it does not allow you to actually face the trauma and cope from it in healthy ways. It just numbs it and continues to be perpetually unaddressed. Getting therapy right away or as soon as possible. Letting go of that shame that you feel is such an important first step.
What was it like to be intimate with me?
It was just incredibly triggering. Basically anything that I saw in the videos was triggering. A few months after the trauma, like our first times trying to be intimate were so difficult and often would either end in tears or me having a panic attack or a breakdown.
Or ending abruptly.
Whatever this person is going through has nothing to do with their desire to want to be intimate with you. Having you be as supportive as you were has been so instrumental in me recovering. So something that you should prepare to experience if you've been through sexual trauma or if you're a partner of someone who's been through sexual trauma is preparing for them or you to experience flashbacks. It could be a sexual position that you're in. It could be a smell. Learning to anticipate those triggers, and when you're in those triggers, either stopping what you're doing or doing something that grounds you, like connecting back to the present moment with a safe touch or connecting with your partner and saying, is this okay? Bria can tell if I'm dissociating and she'll check in with me either when we're intimate or even like right now filming this video. Your trauma's not happening right now.
And as a partner, you have to be okay with stopping. You have to be okay with asking for consent. You have to be okay with checking in.
You have low libido, the depression and anxiety makes you have a low sex drive. Like there's physical symptoms for me. Like I'm always very tense. And so a really frequent thing Bria has to do every time we're intimate, even now 5 years on, is to tell me to relax. Things that I still experience, and maybe some of you who've experienced sexual trauma go through too, are flashbacks. One thing to remember if you're having a flashback is to try to ground yourself in the present moment by doing some breathing exercises or meditating, doing something to reconnect with your body for safe touch on yourself or from your partner that feels safe. That trauma is not happening to you right now. And that's something I go through, and I don't even tell you. I mean, every time we have sex, like something comes up for me. And I know, well, now I know how to deal with it. I don't even tell you every time. Some of the last things to do, try to stay as connected as possible. It's really important to have a network of support around you, even if it's small, if it's your therapist, which is so important. The most monumental step I think I made in the recovery, besides therapy, was realizing that I was still physically holding in the trauma in my body. And so I got this incredible book called Healing Sex, a Mind-Body Approach to Healing Sexual Trauma. A book by Stacey Haynes, who is a trauma victim herself. And it's all of the LGBTQ spectrum, straight, it doesn't matter. She covers everything. As well as dealing with sexual trauma single. You know, there are ways you can reconnect safely through just self-exploration. We've recovered so much and we've grown so much, but as Bria knew that very first day that this was potentially something we would be dealing with for the rest of our lives, through this healing process, our intimate life and our sex life has only grown, you know, and definitely feeling more connected and safe with each other. I love you so much. I'm so thankful for you.
I am so proud of her and the journey that she's taken, the journey we've taken together to be where we are.
Be kind to yourself. So many victims are very hard on themselves. This was not your fault.
And thank you guys so much for watching and supporting my beautiful, strong, incredible wife, for being so vulnerable, and for both of us.
Yeah, I think supporting both of us.
But also both of us talking about something that we don't talk about. We don't talk about our intimacy, so this is very difficult for us. And we're fully aware this video will be demonetized. So thank you for giving some thumbs up, liking this video, and sharing it. That would mean a lot. And also, if you guys would like to support us on our site Patreon, because YouTube has completely demonetized our channel, because we talk about things like this. And we will see you sometime soon, as always.
Yeah, we love you all so much, and thank you for the support.
Big kiss.
Big hug.
Lots of love.
So much love. Mwah. I love you.